Welcome, everybody. I'm Brayden, also known as BD1 and Only on YouTube, and it's good to be back. I've been gone for a couple weeks because of health issues, but I'm glad to be back. And what better way to return than with one of the greatest receivers of all time in arena football, and now the head coach of the Utah Great Eights, Mr. Siaha. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
We're doing great, and I'm glad to have you on. I'm glad that you could take time out of your busy schedule to do a live with me today. And I just wanted to ask a few questions and let the audience get to know what your vision is, kind of for the team and for how you plan to build it. So my first question is, let's just introduce the fans to who you are. You played wide receiver for the Utah Blaze, among other teams. I remember you from the Utah Blaze because I grew up in Utah. But what are your best memories from that era with the Utah Blaze, and what stands out to you the most from that time period?
I mean, we were just electric on offense. So obviously, uh, fans really love scoring, high scoring games. It brings a lot of energy, obviously, a lot of action. So I just remember playing in the Delta Center and really scoring at will, offensively, and really, getting the fans really excited and the energy and we had that place rocking. We just couldn't stop people, at times. I remember we'd probably score 60 points, 62 points. We'd lose 62, 61. I remember one specific game against New York. I think I had like 329 yards and 6 touchdowns, and we still lost the game. So it was just high scoring, back and forth, exciting games, and that's what we want to get back to in the IAL is these high scoring games and offensive battles and just a lot of fan excitement and energy created by that. I think the slower, low scoring games, really kind of kills the energy in the building. Um, we want that basketball feel, back and forth action nonstop. So that's why we're going back to the arena style game, and I'm looking to build the same product offensively that, something similar than we had back when I was here playing.
Awesome. That's great to hear. So how did you get involved in arena football as opposed to outdoor football? Because you played college football at Central Florida University, and then you decided to go the arena route. How did that happen?
So Jay Gruden was, coaching with the Orlando Predators at the time I came out of college, and I went to UCF, which is in Orlando. So I was in his backyard. So right out the gate, he was trying to recruit me, and was in my, inboxes and texting me or calling me. So as I kind of chased the NFL the first year or two out of college, I had knew about Jay wanting me to go out there, but I was chasing the NFL. So after the first 2 years of cuts, I was like, you know what, this guy has been hitting me up, so let me give him a call. He hit me up again, I think that's what it was. And when finally he hit me up again after 2 years of chasing NFL, because I went to the Dolphins coming out, and then I got released, got injured, got released, went to Seattle, got released in camp, and then the next I came back and trained. The Rams signed me, and I pulled my hamstring before I even went up there. So I just was injury after injury for me. So at that point, I was like, I need to play ball, make some money, and Jay offered me a contract, and I took it. So that's where I started with Jay Gruden down in Orlando Predators, and we had a great year, my rookie year, and I got another shot in the NFL, and then it went on from there.
Right on. That's good to hear. And I have to ask too, what was it like playing with Dante Culpepper in college? Because I remember him as one of the most fun quarterbacks to watch. What was it like getting to know him and playing with him?
So Dante was my roommate actually. So
Oh, nice.
we got really close my senior year, but that was a big reason why I went down there. I saw that they had 4 or 5 wide receiver sets, and I knew I'd get a chance to play right away because I was JUCO transfer. And I saw Dante was a sophomore. I was a sophomore. I was like, wow, this dude is, legit. I saw one of my teammates with when I was at MCC had was from the Midwest, not Midwest, but the North. He was from DC area, and Williams. He was familiar with the Williams and Mary, I think it is, team, and they played UCF. So he gave me a film tape of that, and that's where I saw Dante, and I was like the whole UCF thing, because UCF wasn't very popular back then. They really were just a year into being Division One. They actually were D2 earlier, so he went D1, and that was like the first year. I saw that tape, and I was like, wow, let me consider that, because I actually had my grandfather, who just passed about a month ago. He was in Florida, so I had family in the Orlando area, and he was trying to get me on with Florida State because those were the popular teams back then. So he knew some people, and Florida State didn't respond. And then next thing you know, he sent it to UCF, and UCF responded, and that was the first offer I actually got, was to go to UCF. And then I had my family there, cousins and aunts, and my grandfather was there. So that was huge for me to be close to my grandfather, because my father had passed already. So it just all came together. It was like divine intervention. So I ended up in Orlando. So and Dante was nothing but great. We had a connection from the first year. I had 1,100 yards my first year, and 1,100 my second year. So I mean, we just hit it off and hit the ground running.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. How would you say that arena football and playing arena football has shaped you as a person?
Uh, we all, as youth and young kids, dream about being a professional, the NFL, and it's very common. And at some point, uh, that dream either, for some people may come reality. Before a lot of people, it doesn't, stick. It's hard to really make it, and you got to have success not only on the field, but you have to have some luck. You got to be healthy, and that was my thing. I started getting injuries, and I was projected supposedly third round, but I got sick with pneumonia and pericarditis. I missed the combine, and then I had the hamstring issues and things like that. So like, you got to be lucky and get breaks and things as well. So arena was really my saving grace with sports and what I knew. We dedicate so much of our life as athletes to playing the sport that we love. When it all stops, it's tough to deal with mentally. And arena football, thank goodness, gave me an outlet, to continue to showcase, the talents that I was blessed with, and also, give me an outlet to continue doing what I love to do, which is very, it was for me, you know, it was a segue into coaching and, continuing to play. And, I literally have made a living off of football, so it's like, it's really gave me an outlet in life in general to make a living doing what I love to do and I'm passionate about. So, you take arena football away from some of these young men, it's very difficult, because some love it to a degree, like obviously I did. I've been doing this thing since 2001. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I literally, this is what I've done. So for me, it was a lot. It meant a lot.
That's awesome to hear. And it's always cool to see someone, no matter what they do, pursue their passion and be successful at it like you have. And so I love to hear that. I love to hear stories like that. So my next question is, the Arena Football League had a very unique fan experience. And I think a lot of people don't realize the fan dynamics in arena football are much different. What was that like for you, and what made that special?
As far as the fan experience,
Yeah, yeah. Interacting with fans, having them more close to the field, stuff like that.
it really, it's a big difference. People talk about it. You guys talk about the difference. The league kind of sells it like the fan experience and things like that. But until you experience it, you really don't realize how intimate it is. With the fans, because they're right on the wall. When we're playing in college and NFL, the fans are good 20 yards from the sideline. So you don't interact with fans at all. You might hear them, but you don't interact with them at all. So for the wall to be right there and the fans be right there on the wall, coming down to the wall before the game, talking to you, and seeing the same people over and over. You get really uh, a real good opportunity to gain relationships with these people, and you see them all the time, and they fall in love with you, and they get really close with being able to lay eyes on you and handshake you and take pictures. And so it's just a whole different experience compared to the big field with the fan player engagement. So it's been good. I think there's some teams that NFL that are able to the Lambeau Leap, jump in and kind of but you can do that in any arena you're at, an arena, because the fans are right up on top of you. I had posted a video of me doing that, jumping into fans like the Lambeau Leap, when I was playing there. So it's exciting to be that close to the fans and be able to see the energy and the excitement of you playing well in front of them.
Right, for sure, for sure. And how soon after your playing career did you start thinking about going into coaching?
So coaching was always in my blood. That was pretty much what I shaped my degree into, sociology and all that. I needed a degree to coach Division 1. Doesn't matter what it is. So, but I knew I wanted to get into coaching. So my studies was all about people and how to interact, and psychology, sociology, communication. All that was for coaching for me. So um, I knew I wanted to do that when I was done playing. The playing just it went a lot further than I realized. But yeah, I always knew I enjoyed young men because I was always working in behavioral health, while I was in college, and, shortly after, in between stints, I would work behavioral health. So I always had a calling to work with young men. So I knew from the jump.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what was it like going from a leader in the locker room as a player to transitioning into trying to lead a team as a member of a coaching staff?
I feel like it was pretty natural for me. Like I said, uh, I think my background of behavioral health really, uh, really, helped me transition, because when you're dealing with behavioral health, you're dealing with emotions, you're dealing with, um, I guess, behaviors, and you see a lot of temperaments and anger and all kind of things when you're talking about dealing with football players. It's a passionate game, and these players are passionate, and you've got to be able to regulate moods and the ups and the downs and the ebbs and the flows of your locker room and the temperament. And so it's very much a crossover to the same thing, because you're dealing with people, and you're dealing with the emotions of the game, and their letdowns, and everything else, their disappointments. So you've got to be able to communicate, talk, and help players control their moods, so to speak. So um, because they go through a lot. A lot of them, have aspirations of being, playing on a high level, and sometimes it's not like that. So for them, they have some bad breaks and things, and so you're going to deal with a lot of behaviors and I guess the mental part of a player's game and the player's makeup, and they all come from different walks of life, and they know things a certain way, and so to help that team gel and get on one accord, it's all psychological.
And what was the most favorite place you coached? Because I know you've had stops with the Orlando Predators. You were head coach of the Jacksonville Sharks for a while, and most recently the Northern Arizona Wranglers. So out of everywhere you've coached, what has been your most favorite experience?
Uh, Being, winning 2 championships in Jacksonville was pretty special. They have a great fan base there, and I was the head coach there, and until you actually win them as a head coach, it's an experience I feel like everybody should experience. In life, just to get to the top of the mountain, it takes so much work. It's so much sacrifice, and um, get it done, and not only once but twice, was very, very, satisfying. So, um, you know, that was a huge moment in my coaching career and experiences in sports in general. Obviously, I just won a championship with the Arizona Rattlers, and I contributed my piece of the puzzle there. So that was good there to win another one in the IFL. But those two I won, really stick out in my mind as a special moment.
Awesome. Dosi B Design in chat says, is there a matchup that coach is looking forward to most this year?
Ah, we got some good teams in the league, and I don't really know how we match up against them yet. So they're all going to be competitive. I see the signings. I don't really have a specific person I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to them all, and creating some rivalries amongst the players and things and teams. So, obviously, the closer teams to me are Vegas and Arizona. So those two teams, I feel like are going to be pretty much out the gate rivals. They got good coaching staffs. They're signing some good players. Uh, so I look forward to obviously the Arizona team is where I'm from. So playing there is like playing at home. So that's exciting. And the Vegas team with Mook down there is he's got a good following, and he's going to put some good players on the field. And Arvell Nelson is a guy that played for me.
Oh, nice.
2023, he came out of retirement and helped me in 2023 with the Jacksonville Sharks. So Arvell and I have a great relationship, nothing but respect for him. He's a great player. And, I look forward to seeing him get back on the field and doing his thing. Obviously, it's on the other side. I'd love to have him. But, nothing but respect for Arvell. I had Arvell in before I went to Jacksonville. Arvell was my quarterback with the Cleveland Gladiators as well. So Arvell and I have a great relationship, and it's good to see him back on the field. And so look forward to those two matchups the most, probably.
That's awesome, and it will be definitely fun to coach against him too, given that you two have such a great relationship and friendship. Coach Tra in chat says, excited for the IAL, can't wait for kickoff and arena football back in Utah. Coach Burley will do a great job with the grade 8s. If the team has any staff openings, interested in any opportunities. So Coach Tra, you can actually go to our website, ialfootball.com, and there is a section to where you can apply for coaching positions or player positions. So I encourage you to do that. And if we like your resume, we'll definitely reach back out to you for sure. So my next question is for you, Mr. Burley, is that like we just mentioned a minute ago, you have head coaching experience with the Jacksonville Sharks. How is being a head coach going to, how is having previous experience as a head coach going to shape your experience and the way you do things with the Utah grade 8s?
Well, obviously, experience goes a long way in any profession. Obviously, you trial and error, bumping your head a couple times, goes a long way with how you do things. So I'm looking forward to getting back to the head coaching position, as I've been an assistant since the Jacksonville Shark days for a few years now. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to help a lot my experience with Jacksonville. Starting a new franchise. When I went to Jacksonville, that was the first year of that league. So it was basically starting a new franchise, just like we are now. So the recruiting process and the tricks of the trade of how to start something new, what's important out the gate, all those things I've kind of been through with that franchise before. So it's gave me a lot of insight on strategies on how to get out the gate fast and try to be successful early with the new franchise and how to recruit. Because right now, obviously it's recruiting every day until we get the squad that we need. So it's helped me a lot with that. And there's also, the coaching staff and some relationships and things that I've been able to do. I think we got some announcements of some coaching staff hires here coming out pretty quickly. So um, it's gave me a leg up for sure on getting this job going.
Awesome. What was your reaction when you were offered the head coaching position with the Utah Grade Eights?
So, originally I didn't know anything about the league. So, uh, Utah, when I heard Utah and Salt Lake, that just, a light went off in my head with a great opportunity to get back to Salt Lake. And I know the community and the backing and the fan base. Uh, it's a market that I think arena football can thrive in. So that grabbed my interest, right out the gate. The league, I had to, ask questions, do some research, and unturn some rocks to find out what I was getting involved with, and everything was great. So I think the league has done a great job of hiring a lot of pieces that fit in arena football, and other league stuff that we have going on. So a lot of credible people involved. So I was really pleased to find out all the pieces they had in place, and uh, I really looked as deep as I could to find out, if it was a great situation for me, and it definitely was.
What excites you most about building a team from scratch?
What excites me about it is that it's fresh. It's a fresh slate mentally. It allows me to come in and create an identity versus walking into a team that already has an identity. For example, like that first year when I took over that Jacksonville Shark team, it was already mid-season. That team was 8-0 when I took it over in Jacksonville, but I wasn't the original head coach. They fired the head coach, and I think it's Mark Stout was the coach. So I came in and they had an identity already, and so I had to change the identity to do change the identity into what I thought was a championship mentality to get us over the hump. And it was hard. I got some pushback. I got some fight from players, and it was aggressive. It was aggressive turnover in the mindset there. So have a fresh slate and to attack the mindset, from camp on, that I believe is what you need to be able to win a championship is definitely refreshing versus coming in trying to change a mindset, of players that believe in something. And you got to tell them, well, I want to believe you to believe in this. And so it's a buy-in thing, it's all about, psychological makeup. And there's more than one way to have success. I'm not the only person. There's a lot of coaches across the country that have success in their programs. But as I always say, it's not the formula that everybody has had success with. It's can we get on the same formula? And so that's what it's about is can we all get on one mindset that we believe is going to win? And because there's different ways. There's a different Super Bowl winner every year, right? There's more than one way to win. But you got to be able to get on the same mindset. What all the winners have is they're all bought into the same mindset. And so that's the challenge of it. And so being able to start fresh with no players, coming in, having success already, and you're buying into a new mindset. That's the struggle of it. That's why you see some of those teams that they change coaches, and it's like that coach never gets that team to buy in. So that's one of the biggest things, and we don't have that. We have a fresh, clean slate.
So, what type of culture and identity do you want to establish in year one?
Well, I want a good group, a good group that's unselfish and buys into team play and is physical and plays fast and out the gate, is able to be molded into what we need as a team. Obviously, you don't know what you got till you get to camp. To say that that you got a winning team or a certain thing, you don't know until you get to camp and you see what happens. So a lot of it is going to be, week to week, making changes as we see fit, and getting better in places that we need to get better at, and finding out who we are as a team. And I say that to say, yes, I have an identity that, we're going to be a physical team, obviously. But again, how much we're going to be uh, playing or not playing, but throwing the ball to certain people and all that identity of who we are. It's all about how the players we have respond. So and how they can manage the game and manage pressure. So there's a bend to being a coordinator and a head coach. To the strengths of your players and your team. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we have and trying to figure out how to put our players in the best positions to be successful.
What players in particular are you most excited about?
Well, we've signed about 15 players, and from that group, we've got some youngsters in there. I think the biggest name I think in indoor football was the one we just posted yesterday in Tremont. Uh, he's a former defensive player of the year, and he's a monster D lineman that's gonna hit the ground running and create some havoc for us defensively. But we've got some young players on the offensive side of the ball and some receivers uh, that I'm excited about playing as well. So, but again, we're not done. We've got a lot of guys that are going to be coming on board pretty soon here. They're just kind of seeing the league and how it's unfolding and stuff. But we'll have a really good group. Jadakiss Bonds is one of the offensive players I'm excited about. I actually had him last year in camp, so I've already seen him, laid eyes on him. He was a Green Bay Packer cut, 6'4", 210, 215. He could have easily been an all-league player, but he pulled his hamstring last year in camp and was out. So he's returning. I'm excited for what he brings to the table. He's a matchup problem with his length, but he's also fast. So he's a key guy that I'm excited to get back going. But we'll have some additions that I think will definitely make a splash soon.
That's good. That's good to hear. So how do you go about evaluating talent for the arena game specifically?
So uh, depends on the position, but experience is one aspect of getting out the gate fast, but also young players, you got to have them in this league and develop them as well. So I like having young players that you can develop, but you got to have a mix of some guys that know what they're doing as well that can help bring up um, these youngsters. So but character is a big part of it. When you're talking to a guy on the phone and you see his film, is he a fast player? Does he play fast? Is he physical? Does he do the little things that help you win? And again, like I said, I could break down every position for you because every position is different. But depending on the position you're talking about, I'm looking for the little things that uh, some of these guys, that are superstars that they won't do because, for example, the receivers. If receivers aren't blocking, we don't have no run game. We're going to be struggling inside the red zone, inside the five. So like things like that, little things. We got to be able to do everything, not just catch the ball. We got to be able to block. Quarterbacks. How are you when things aren't going well? How's your mental? Are you taking hits when you're letting the ball go? I'm looking at your film. How are you when you're taking hits, not when the pocket's clean? Are you able to have adversity and stuff? So, but again, when I'm in camp, all that will kind of weed itself out because I'm gonna put the guys in adverse situations and I want to see how they respond. To be honest with you, tape is one thing, but you really don't know enough off the tape, to know if that guy really has the mental and the physical attributes to really get it done at the next level. So that's why I say, we get excited every year as coaches. We sign all these players, these big names and stuff, and then we get them here and we're like, he's not, as fluid as we thought, or he's not mentally as tough like we thought, or so you don't really know what you have until you got it. So I'm never gonna sit here and say, these guys are going to be a superstar until I actually see them and kind of get to know them personally through the adversity of a camp.
Right. Right. So how do you plan to build team chemistry ahead of this season? You mentioned that part of winning a championship is everyone buying into the same mentality? How do you plan to do that and build team chemistry?
Well, I think you got to educate. You have to educate your players in camp, and educating by showing them scenarios and situations, and um, whether it be me showing them film of what not to do. You know, a lot of these guys have never played arena football. You have to literally show them the game and teach them, oh, here's a scenario. So we do, we're big on situational football. So it's like, New England Patriots started it back when Bill Belichick was there. So I mean, everybody's doing it now, but um, you got to teach them the game. You got to educate them because they've never played this game. A lot of them haven't. So the faster your team is up to par with what to expect in a game, as far as the emotions of it, the changes, the ebbs and flows of the changes and turnovers, and you got to be able. You can talk about it, but until you show them, they don't really understand it, and they won't be mentally prepared for it. So you just got to introduce the game to them. Without telling all my secrets, you got
Yeah,
to
right. Yeah.
and teach them as fast as you can what they're going to expect when the lights come on. And so the more mentally prepared they are for all the scenarios you can show a team, the better they'll perform in those scenarios. So that's what it's about, is just educating and mentally preparing the guys for the battle that's coming.
So, for fans that are new to arena football or just barely getting into it, what, in your opinion, makes the game so exciting?
One of the biggest things is that you're never out of the game. I mean, that's something that as a rookie, for me, when I was a player, that I didn't understand. We got down when I was in Orlando my first year. We got down 21-0, I think, at the end of the first. And when you're on the big field, just because that's what we've played, that's where we all come from, is the big field game. 21-0 is pretty disheartening. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
That's literally nothing in arena football. It's nothing. And so that's the most exciting thing, I think, for the fans to grasp, is that their team is always in the game, even with 21 point lead with 3 minutes left. They're still in the game. And now, the rules of the game, college game, is starting to get better, where people are coming back from 21. But that's literally, I mean, it's nothing in arena football. So I think that's the biggest thing, is that, these games are never over. So you're not going to see guys leaving in the third quarter because they're down 21. You're still fighting and battling, and the point spreads can change within 30 seconds. So uh, we've got a deuce in our game that's going to be a little interesting. You can literally score a touchdown, and 6 points, go for two, get it, that's eight, and then kick a deuce on the kickoff, and you'll have 10-0. I've been there, so it's crazy with that. So I like that rule that we're going to do the deuce. So, but they'll see. It's very exciting to be able to catch up, or, just the point scoring of it. Then you still have the onside kicks and things like that get exciting, that some teams may do or may not do. It just keeps you on the edge of your seat.
And what do you think makes the Utah and Salt Lake City market in particular so special as far as fan support goes?
I just think it's the culture there. They like sports. They don't have an NFL team, so I mean that's probably going to help us. And they've got a track record of supporting their home teams. I did the research. The Screaming Eagles had 8,100 fans at their inaugural game. So, I mean, I just love the city and the city's energy when it comes to sports there. I had a great experience when I was there. So I'm looking forward to bringing them, a winning product that they're excited about, because the track record with that community is to get behind their team.
Do you plan to reconnect with former Utah Blaze fans and try and get them to come out to grade 8 games?
Absolutely. I plan on getting out there as soon as next week, and starting to shake some hands and get out in the community and hopefully create some excitement.
That's awesome. And just one last question before I let you go. What kind of game day atmosphere would you like to create for the Utah Grade Eights?
Well, I mean, obviously people get excited about winning, so we got to win early and often. But I see the fans really, really getting behind us, especially with the offense of plans that are in store. People like scoring. People like high flying guys, going deep, and that's what our league is dedicated to doing. So it's not going to be a handoff here, 5-yard pass here. They like those exciting deep ball plays, one score touchdowns. And the cannons going off in the building and things like that. So we want to bring that type of fast-paced action type of game to them, where they expect scoring and they expect us to be able to come back and just have a team that is diehard and they know that it's dangerous, and that's going to be in every game, and give them a high flying, high scoring show.
That's awesome to hear. And personally, I can't wait for the season. I can't wait to see what you put out on the field. And I just want to thank you so much for sitting down with me, taking time out of your busy schedule. Thank you so much, Coach.
Absolutely. No worries.
Yeah.
Appreciate
You have a great day.
All right, you too.